Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Aaron with HEX Life and Style. In episode 3, I interview Thomas Gillespie of Flashback Heat. Thomas talks about how Complex made his Instagram absolutely blow up and gives us a behind the scenes on what it takes to open a shop and where he is currently with his. So grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy episode number 3 with Thomas Gillespie of Flashback Heat. Thomas, man, I appreciate it. I'm with Thomas of Flashback Heat. Let's get going right now. So tell me, give me an idea. What have you been doing since we've been on lockdown?
Kind of this.
Yeah.
Playing some MLB The Show, I'd say it's what I'm doing the most. Cleaning some shit up, organizing, just trying to come up with some new ideas to keep myself busy, I guess, but a lot of sitting around.
Yeah. I noticed your page. You've been doing a lot of course, I'm into a lot of the bleaching and the tie dyeing and things like that as well. I like
Oh
kind of
yeah.
creating the one pieces, but man, I love some of the pieces you've done. I noticed you've done quite a few, I guess, since you've been on lockdown as well.
Yeah, dude, it's fun. It brings new life to old stuff that I've been sitting on, and with this I can't go out and get new inventory, so it makes old inventory like new inventory, and it's just fun. I've always liked art, so it's always an experiment with everyone, and it's fun to do for sure.
That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you, Thomas, one of the things that I thought was really cool, you did a couple Carhartt pieces. I think one pieces where you painted on them. I think you did one
Yep.
Alice in Chains, and I'm trying to think what the other one was, but those were super sick. And you doing any
Appreciate
more
it.
pieces like that?
Painting, man, it sucks. I hate it. Like, I used to love painting, but so time consuming, back breaking. If you fuck up, you're toast. You can't really get rid of it. So I haven't done any since that painting wise, but I definitely have some that I could work on for sure. But
Yeah,
maybe one day. It's
yeah,
definitely not fun.
yeah. Those I figured you would get lots of requests after the first two that you did. They were great. So I
Appreciate it.
obviously I think you got rid of them pretty quick. I was late to the game. I love that Alice in Chains one.
I've actually not sold them because I haven't wanted to really. I've just kind of kept them in my closet and haven't done anything with them because I don't really want to.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna wait till it warms up, gets cool again. I mean, and then I'll probably wear them myself. But
it's hard to
yeah,
put a price
I
on
still
them
got them.
too when you put all the effort and the time into kind of creating a piece. It's hard to just
Oh God,
a lot of people don't understand what you put behind it, and they think you should sell it for $40, $50.
yeah.
You obviously want the time that you put into it. You want to get a lot more for that. But let's move in. So give the viewers kind of an idea. How did you get into kind of the thrifting industry?
Well, let's see. My dad, he's always gone to like thrift stores and like estate sales and sold anything old, like antique related. So he was having me do that while I was over in Radford University. So I looked for like toasters and like antiques and stuff like that. Never really cared about clothes that much, but Travis Scott wore this one Nine Inch Nails shirt and this one Megadeth shirt, which is actually that shirt I would say pretty much got me into vintage itself. But I was like, damn, those are sick. And I looked them up on eBay, saw what they were going for, and once I realized I could find this stuff at like thrift stores and anywhere, I was like, shit, I'm gonna try it, and it became an addiction, and it just kind of snowballed into all this.
Yeah, yeah. That's the same. I mean, it's amazing the stuff that you can find and what you can resell it for. But would you say you're a collector first or a reseller?
See, I would say I'm a collector first. Um, I used to just care about money only. Like I didn't care about anything. Just I just wanted money out of it. But now it's if I see something I want, I definitely get it and I keep it. But yeah, I would say I'm a collector first for sure. I view everything I have as like my big collection. If somebody wants to buy it, great, and if they don't, it's not gonna bother me any. So
Yeah,
I feel that way with every single piece that I own.
yeah. I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I view it almost as I guess an art collector, but I know it's kind of cheesy to say, but I'm a collector first, and then
Yeah.
same way. I was talking to another guy about that's been the hard thing for me because a lot of times I buy to my taste, and I've had to open up my mind a little bit and buy kind of what other people want or what or interest of other the buyers out there. So, well,
Yeah.
let's move on to so a couple things I want to cover. I want to make sure we cover your name, Flashback Heat, and how that kind of came about, and that's a pretty cool story that a lot of people might not know. But then I want to spend a lot of time on kind of your new venture, your store that you've got going, and kind of where you are with that, and what are some details. I know it's been a lot of hoops to jump through to get things kind of off the ground, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But let's go into the Flashback Heat, the name, kind of tell the story behind that. Hey brother, we're back, man. So sorry about that. I lost complete connection, but I was in the middle of talking about kind of how you came up with Flashback Heat. Tell that story. I think it's pretty cool. I think some people may know it, but talk to the people maybe who don't.
Yeah, the Flashback Heat name, I came up with that, I'm gonna say like September or August of like 2018. But the whole blockbuster theme to it, I went to Ben's one day out in St. Louis, and I found a Pokemon game in a blockbuster case, like right off the bat, and it was a good one. I think it was Gale of Darkness. It's like a $50 game.
Yeah.
Uh, Hour later, I found a blockbuster card just laying around, and then I'm gonna say another hour later, I found a blockbuster hat, like all in the same day, and I took a picture of it, posted it. I'd say about a week later, I was just sitting in my room. I was trying to learn how to play guitar because I found a Mexican Fender Strat at the Goodwill close to me for like $50, like a legit one. So I wanted to learn how to play it. All of a sudden, it says Complex tagged you in a post, and I was like, "There's no way it's actually Complex." Thought it was somebody else, and
Yeah.
sure enough, I click on them. They're verified. They've got millions and millions of followers, and I'm gaining followers like crazy. Everybody's commenting on it, messaging me. I think I gained about 1,300 followers overnight. I like doubled my followers literally overnight. And I had to mute my phone for everything, like text,
Wow.
every notification. I had to mute it because it was just endless. Like I'd refresh it and it would just be like a whole new list of people following me and all that stuff. So I figured I need a logo. Why not just use the Blockbuster logo? So that's all how that worked out. And it opened up a lot of doors because uh, people from Complex, the guy that runs Complex Con, he bought off me, and we're actually good friends now. Like we stay in touch all the time. He buys off me regularly. He sent me a care package for the store too, like a Takashi open close sign, like a Complex Con record. Sent me all kinds of stuff for free. So he's a really cool guy. And Patrick Schwarzenegger bought that Blockbuster hat and my Apple shirt off me at the same time. So that
Wow.
was pretty crazy too. Yeah. And I didn't
Crazy.
reply to him for like 2 days because it went to like my requests, and I just never saw it. And then I looked at my request and I was like, oh fuck, like this is Patrick Schwarzenegger. He's got like 1.3 or 1.8 million followers, and it's Arnold's son. So
Yeah.
yeah, we got in touch after that, and he bought it. It was pretty cool.
That's crazy. That's what I love about this, man. The meeting different people, the networking aspect of it. I mean, it's so cool, and it is something as simple as somebody reposting something like that. Well, I
Oh,
mean, complex, but somebody reposting something like that, it really can take you to the next level and just opens a ton of doors for you. So,
dude, it opened up a
talk about
million
that.
doors. It felt like
What's that?
I feel like it opened a million doors for me. Honestly, it took everything to the next level, kind of, because I had I think close to 1,000 followers at this point. I started in April, and this was like January of the next year. And it took a while. That's when my friends started to realize, like, oh shit, like he's pretty good at this, and this stuff's like pretty legit. At the same time, Slobby's World came out, and everybody saw where I was reposted in Slobby's World. Everybody local started making like vintage accounts, like every high school kid and like college kid, they were all making vintage accounts. I
Yeah.
used to be the only one at local thrifts, and I couldn't go to a single thrift without like a line of just like same aged kids just going bananas all over the place. And me and my buddies that been doing that for a while, we were like, fuck dude, like we felt like we were screwed. Like this could be the end of it. This could be like really hard for us. And we thought places were going to get flooded, but they all kind of weeded out. But yeah, it was all at the same time. So it was pretty big deal for me to have people realize that this was legit and not just fun and games, I guess.
I think you still run into that a little bit. You've got, obviously, it's hard to be mad at them because the high school kids and the college kids, they the entrepreneurship that they have as far as trying to get started or get going with that. But I've come to find that they don't stay with it very long because
Yeah.
it's a lot of hard work, and I mean you got to
Oh
put
my God, dude.
not only sourcing product consistently, but you know, and that's the easy part. Going after and looking for the stuff is the easy, fun part. But getting it
Yep.
home, preparing it, posting Instagram every day, stories and photos, and keeping up with that, and then really trying to promote it and get it out there. And then once you do sell
Yeah.
that's kind of the hard part I think with this too, because once you do, you get a buyer, then they want to say, oh, will you take this for it, or will you take less, or and then you have to negotiate, and then you have to, and so that sometimes that is a lot of work, especially for
It's
someone who's trying to just flip something rather quickly.
yeah, and they get discouraged. I mean, they see I would say maybe they see like round two prices on stuff, and like I know a lot of people they'll Google like an item they find, and the first result they see, they think it's worth that, like a Marlboro West denim jacket. They see somebody listed for $100, it's like a $30 jacket. They're like, "Oh, dude, I found $100 jacket at Goodwill." It's like,
Yeah.
nah, you didn't. But you know, I definitely encourage it though, because I mean, when I started, man, I was grabbing like RVCA shirts, shit like that, and
Yeah.
I was just going for what I could, what I thought I could sell stuff for, and the price I was buying it at. But I encourage it because anybody can turn it into what I've turned it into. It's definitely my passion now that I never knew was my passion until I really started doing it like hardcore. But
And
yeah,
too,
I
you
definitely encourage it.
gone along too, you've probably, you read and you study and you educate yourself on things, and that's this market is forever changing. The value. I mean, I had shirts when I had
Yeah.
just 6 months ago. There are shirts that I had
Yes,
that I sold for $30 or $40, and now they're $150 T-shirt in a matter of six
dude.
months.
Yes, I had this one. It was this movie Seven with like I think it's Morgan Freeman maybe.
Brad
And
Pitt,
yep,
Morgan.
I had that movie promo tee from 2000 for about a year. I couldn't sell it for like 15 to 20 bucks. Like I posted it everywhere, eBay, everything, 15, 20 bucks. Nobody was touching it. And then one recently, I'm gonna say about a month ago, an auction, it went for like 127 some dollars, I think. And I got rid of it back in December, I think for 20 bucks. Because
Yeah.
that's all it was really going for. And I was like, what the fuck? Like Marvel stuff's gone up. Mosquito heads, they've kind of dropped. It's just wrap tees, they're not what they used to be. I mean, they're still big, but damn, it's definitely not what it was. Like Guess striped tees, they've gone down a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had a lot of shit that I've let go for dirt cheap that wasn't shit at the time, and now it's like you're kicking yourself, but it's just part of it, really.
And there's a huge pop off. I mean, I know Grateful Dead shirts have always kind of been there. The liquid blues, a lot of the different liquid blues that aren't Grateful Dead related, they seem to be popping really, really right now, and have
Yeah,
for the past few months. And I've had a ton of those. That I mean, like the same way. I mean, you've sold those liquid blue, a lot of those liquid blues for nothing, and now people are.
yes,
I saw Round Two had a Grateful Dead T-shirt that I have. They just posted yesterday or the day before for $200. And
dude, they're posting Carhartts for 100, and people are buying those like crazy.
yeah, they're
And
all
it's
sold
like,
out. It's crazy. Yeah, that the
yeah,
the one.
I'm sitting on probably 15 of them,
Yeah, yeah. So
like 30 bucks.
I think COVID-19 is going to shrink that market a little bit. I think you'll see fewer people probably out trying to a lot of the younger, I think, generation people that, like you said, they saw that slobby world show. Those people will die off. I think they won't come out of this. And then I think too, and I mentioned this on my earlier interview. I think you'll see the market drop a little bit. I think the price
Yeah,
will come back to more of a realistic price of, okay, listen, this is a killer wrap tee, but is it worth $800, $900? And I want to know who's buying those, because even if I had the money, it would be really hard for me to spend that. And
Dude, I could never. I never buy stuff for myself. Like I bought this Ramstein and I bought this Megadeth. Dude, I'd probably say buying for myself like market price, probably the first time in maybe a year. Like I never do it. Like I just trade for shit only. I never buy shit. So that's been a fear of mine, like market dipping. And I have a lot of money invested into one shirt and it just dips in price. And so I've never done that shit unless it's for myself and not
yeah,
at like a crazy price point. But yeah, I never do that ever.
that's the way with me. I've been buying a lot for myself, but it's been things that I've really, that I know that I want. It's content that I love, I will always, like. So, and I kind of have a price point. I don't go over a certain amount. So I
Yeah, for
keep it,
sure.
keep it in that area for sure. So let's move on a little bit. Let's talk about kind of your new venture. Let's talk a little bit about the storefront. I know, was it the end of last year you started talking a lot, real heavy, actually before you unfortunately lost your Instagram account and had a recruit.
Oh
That's a
shit.
whole nother mess. But you were talking a lot about the new store. You were posting a lot of pictures and things like that. And of course, this COVID-19 thing happened. And so you had to kind of switch gears a little bit. Talk about
Yeah.
talk about where you're at with that. Talk about some of the hoops you've had to jump through, and just kind of tell that story.
Well, let's see. I've been selling at the flea market. I don't anymore. I stopped like middle of January, but I started selling there. I'm gonna say like May, like the end of May, and it was a really tough market there because there's a lot of rednecks that just want like guns and like vegetables and stuff, and nobody saw this as anything but like old, crappy, like used clothes. That's what they saw it as, and I really learned how to sell there. But I signed the lease to my store back in December, December 6th, and then I was supposed to open up the first weekend of February, and I was doing this all on my own. It was a big leap for me. It was something I really wanted to do, and I just said screw it, and I just took a chance with it, and didn't realize all the little stuff that I was going to have to pay for, and it was like shit. It was a really really hard time, but let's see. I left the flea market the middle of January because I was supposed to open first February. 2 weeks later, then they kept pushing my store back. I think they just finished the renovations like 3 or 4 days ago, if they've even finished. So they were supposed to be done like the end of January with it. So I've just been sitting on all this inventory waiting for the store to open. Haven't wanted to sell anything ever since like the middle of January, pretty much. And now with this virus and all that slowing everything down, I just said screw it and I'll launch the online store. But I've been sitting on everything, just trying to scrape by financially since like January, and it's been pretty tough. I didn't expect there to be this many hoops to jump through this early. I'm not even open yet, but I see it as a big challenge, and if I can get through this, then I'm not going to have anything to worry about like in the future for sure.
So are you still looking to go forward with the store, or are you just kind
Oh
of
yeah,
put the brakes a little bit?
yeah. I mean, the lease has been signed for a couple of years already, so um, they want to have my rent start May 1st, like start having me, pay for it and all that stuff, like rent wise. And it's kind of scary, but I'll find a way to get through it. It's like I said, I see it as a challenge. I don't get down about it or worry about it. It's just like it's sink or swim. You either complain about it and mope about it, or you do something about it and just try to make the most out of it. That's what I'm trying to do right now. But yes, it's still on for sure. It's happening regardless because I got to pay for it, and I'm not going to pay for it and not do it. So
Yeah.
definitely doing it.
Well, I think that'll be. I mean, everything obviously happens for a reason. And I think that maybe this just gave you more time to kind of create, come up with some different ideas, and
Hmm.
so when the green light does come on, you're ready to go with the shop. And I think too, um, you have the right mindset. I mean, sink or swim, no doubt. So many people go into this business and sometimes right out of the gate it is. It's fun, it's exciting, and then you start to kind of get into the trenches of this is an actual business, and I don't have time to do anything on the weekends, or this is my life. and they don't really think through that process. And this probably has given you a lot of time to really think through that. Of course, you've been doing the fleet, the vendors mall, I know, for a while too, and I could just tell by your Instagram you were working your ass off. You know,
Dude, it was some shit. It was awesome. Like, I loved it. Back in the summer, dude, I try not to talk about it too much. Like, I can go there to buy, but outside, I'd get there like 4:30 in the morning. Like, every Saturday, every Sunday, I'd be there like 4:30 in the morning every weekend of the summer, with like a little headlight on my head, like going through tables and shit outside till I opened up at like 10 o'clock. Like, every Saturday and Sunday, just
yeah,
hitting bins pretty much every single day, and then Saturday, Sunday, just being there from like 4:30 a.m. to like 4 p.m. So I
yeah.
was pretty much 24/7.
Yeah, yeah, you got to be. I mean, you got to, and you'll see that too when you do get, hopefully things will get back to normal here in May and June, and once you get the shop up and going, yeah, you'll see. I mean, you're already kind of weathered, and you know that it's going to take that effort and that time to put into it. But so many people go into it not knowing that. So I think
Mhm.
you have the right mindset. You're definitely a hustler, so you'll make it work. And I think one of the things that's really cool about you is that this is your gig, this is your passion, this is what this is your bread and butter, as we were talking earlier. And I think when your back's against the wall like that, you go a lot harder, and you put a lot more into it and a lot more heart into it. And I think that's what makes you different than a lot of people that's maybe into this industry, that, they just do it for fun or for a hobby. I have another job. This isn't my bread and butter, but I've also been doing this for, collecting and doing, thrifting and things like that for many, many years. But I think with your mindset, there's no doubt you'll have success. So just, if I could give you any advice, just be patient with it, man. You'll see it through. And so talk a little bit about the store. What's kind of what's going to be maybe some things that you want to do different than, like your round two or some of the other spots that are out there.
You know, I see a lot of like I'm not shops, but like new stores they open up, and they're all based around hype. They kind of just want to like Bape, Supreme, band tees, rap tees. That's kind of about it. But for me, I've always loved like 90s stuff. My older sister, she's 26, so she always had the coolest shit like growing up. Like, all the toys she had, I wanted so bad. And just everything about it, like collectibles. Like, I've got the old like Nickelodeon boom boxes,
Yeah.
VHS out the ass, CDs out the ass, stickers, like music memorabilia, just records. I've got pretty much every little thing, like board games, posters, everything. Like, I'm gonna have pretty much like a whole wall on my store of just like collectibles and like little shit, because that stuff I pick up if I see it at like the flea market, yard sales, bins, whatever. And I've been sitting on it ever since I've been doing this, because I just love that shit. And it's not easy to just sell online or whatever, but stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's what's going to separate the store a little bit, because there's something for everybody here. I'm going to try to do like old video games too, like systems, take trades in on those. But yeah, it's definitely what you can expect. I try to diversify and have something for everybody for sure.
Well, that'll be the good thing. I mean, the nostalgia aspect of it, being able to kind of go in a store and it feels like you're going back in time. I grew up in the '90s. I grew up in the '80s and '90s, but '90s by far was my favorite time. I guess because I was more of a teenager. But just, and everything at that point in time, even probably 5 6 years ago, I didn't really think about the '90s stuff being as popular as it is. Currently,
Yeah.
because I grew up in that era, and it was just I still had it all, so it wasn't like I was looking for it. I don't get rid of stuff, but yeah, I think that'll be the cool thing about, and where you're located too. There's nothing really like that, right?
I mean, there's another vintage shop here. It's called Vintage Ave. It's pretty nice. But like, it's a college town. He's the only other one. Like, he's the only other vintage shop that does stuff like that. He's got collectibles too, posters, all that stuff. He came around, I'm gonna say January or February of last year. So he's been there about a year now. But yeah, he's a really good guy for sure. he's definitely a really good dude. It's gonna be really beneficial for us both, once my shop gets opened up, because I can refer people to him, he can refer people to me. I don't see it as a competition. I see it as like how we can help each other out and birth like the whole culture in this area. So yeah,
Oh,
he's the only one.
yeah, and that's a good mindset to have too. 'Cause, I mean, it's not like you are selling the exact same shirts or this and that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so much when you look at how much how many different types of T-shirts and jackets and all of that's out there. I mean, the stuff you have is going to be totally different than what he has, and vice versa.
Oh God, yeah.
That'll be the cool thing too. I know that works really well
Yeah,
in the oval market.
yeah, I try not to like really worry about what other people might like in my shop. I just go by what I think's cool and what people might like. I just go by my own thing. I love like promo tees. Like those are my favorite, like 2000 stuff, 90s promo tees, whatever. That shit is like my absolute favorite. And I know that definitely other stores have their own things that they are like centered around, and mine's definitely different than most. But yeah, that's the cool thing about vintage shops is the owner is like the curator pretty much, and what he likes is in the shop, and everybody's different for sure. But it's always cool to have people like him around for sure.
Yeah. So that leads me into my next question. So what do you collect? What's your thing?
Oh man, I start collecting like weird stuff. It changes. Like promo tee is definitely my favorite. If I see like a 2000s or 90s promo tee, I don't let it slip by, especially if a friend of mine's got it. I pretty much just ask them like what they want for it, and I whip up something. I get it. Like I don't let it slip by for sure. 2000s promo tees, I'd say. The George Bush shirts, those are another one of mine. I've got quite a few of those.
Yeah.
I wish I had them together right now. They're all kind of spread out, but I've got one. It's like it says like "Meet the Fuckers" and it's got George Bush, and it's just man, it's awesome. I love the George Bush tees. Megadeth stuff's another one of my favorites. Um, but I'd say that's about it. I've tried not to collect too much. I try to really focus on just making this grow as much as I can. So
Yeah.
personally, I don't really keep too much now, but those are definitely what I keep like pretty much all of.
Yeah, I go through spurts like that. I'll grab a bunch of stuff that I think that I like, and of course I enjoy it for a bit, wear it around, and then get rid of it in a couple weeks. So, but
Yep.
well, let's roll. Let's keep it rolling with. So what I've been asking everybody, and I mentioned this to you. Mentioned this to you earlier. A public service announcement. So, what would your PSA be to the I guess the world out there?
Uh, explore new things. I was selling insurance before I did this. I was doing shoes first, got out of that, tried insurance, and it was commission only. So it was sink or swim, and I was still in training. I wasn't making any money, and I just gave this a shot, and I fell in love with it like from the start. So definitely explore new things. Don't worry about what other people think. I was like, people are gonna mess around with this Instagram when I make it. I just did it anyways, just because I wanted to catalog everything. So don't worry about what other people think for sure, and just try to find something you're passionate about. Just yeah, definitely explore new stuff, and don't be afraid to make mistakes because you're going to, and just stick with something and don't give up on it. I guess.
I love it, man. I love it. That sounds good. Well, listen, Thomas, thanks, and I can't wait to come down. I'm definitely going to make a road trip and check the shop out.
Oh,
Hopefully,
dude.
get up and running in May, and we can kind of get back to normal. But I'm definitely going to make a
Yeah,
road trip down there for sure.
yeah, definitely. Bring Scott with you if you can. Proof displays. Tell him to bring his skates too.
Yeah, I will
I
for
like
sure.
to see him do some stuff.
Yeah, yeah, we'll have to make that road trip. We definitely will. But I bet you're glad to have Thrifty back, Thrifty Wizard.
Oh, dude, he was honestly one of the bigger reasons why I started doing this because I asked him so many questions and I saw his page and I thought his stuff was awesome. And instead of just not really answering me, he pretty much taught me a lot of stuff and we became best friends through this. So glad he's coming back because he's been with me pretty much since day one through this. And
Yeah,
he's one of the best people I know at this too. So it's perfect.
That's awesome, man. I love that. I love that. He's a good dude, man.
Oh, dude, he's the best. He's the same as me. We're like replicas, so
Yeah.
he's the man.
He came into when he came into Lexington, man, and when I got to know him just a little bit briefly, but it's like it's almost like you've known the guy forever.
He's
And
so nice and so funny.
yeah,
He's awesome.
yeah, he's a good dude, real good dude. Well, Thomas, man, I appreciate it, and I'll be definitely heading down south to Tennessee to check everything out.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait. Definitely let me know when, and we'll have to get into something for sure.
Cool. I appreciate it, brother.
Hey, thank you, man.
Yeah, you too. Okay, we're with Thomas of Flashback Heat. We're gonna do a heat check here. Okay, Thomas, your favorite musician or band?
Soundgarden for sure. Chris Cornell's the man.
Okay. Favorite food?
Pizza.
I knew you were gonna say that. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie. Oh man. Sin City or Ferris Bueller's Day Off, or no, actually it's Donnie Darko. I'll say Donnie Darko is my favorite because
It's hard to choose between
I
those.
still, yeah,
I love
I
you.
still don't understand the ending. So I come up with a new conspiracy every time. It's definitely, I'd say Donnie Darko for sure.
Okay, cool. And celebrity crush, what would that be?
Jessica Alba for sure. Like I said, Sin City, she was just
She was great in that.
definitely Jessica Alba.
Perfect.
Oh yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, Thomas. And that's a wrap. See you, buddy.
All right, see you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, see you, man. Bye.
So I hope everybody enjoyed that interview with Thomas Gillespie of Flashback Heat. Thomas gave some great insight into the vintage industry and talked about the grind and what it takes to open your own shop. So I want to say thank you. Great response, great reviews from a lot of you out there about what we're doing. So go to Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcast, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, leave a review, leave us some feedback. We're trying to get better and better at this each week. So thank you all, and I hope everybody is well. See you next week.